Now, the news. Making history together. Now, the news.
Steve Jackson edits the Australian's Media Diary. And Steve, from time to time you write about the really big moves in Australian media. The one that I'm very interested in for 2026 is the sale of Seven West Media by Kerry Stokes and family. Kerry Stokes is one of Australia's most interesting business people, adopted as a child, grew up in real poverty, became a TV repairman, ended up owning Channel 7 and becoming very powerful. Now he's selling out. Why?
Kerry Stokes is Channel 7. He is the man, he's the driving force behind its success. When he came in, it was indisputably second place to Nine. Nine, we're still the one, the dominant channel. I think everyone remembers the ads.
You're still the one I want whispering in my ear. Still the one I want to talk to in bed. Still the one that turns my head. We're still having fun. Still the one.
But Kerry Stokes comes in, he decides, I'm going to change things up. He's brought in the right people, famously brought across David Leckie from Nine, and then he started building up Channel 7, and lo and behold, over the years, he really was the force behind driving its success, mainly because he believed in television.
I love what we do. I love the fact that regardless of the headaches, we produce for the Australian public quality news, quality sports coverage and good entertainment.
He might only have ever counted as one viewer for Channel 7, but he was a very important viewer and he actually knew what audiences wanted. And internally at 7, they've always prided themselves on being the barbecue chook network, the network that gets what everyday Aussies like.
Nobody knows Melbourne like 7. 7 nightly news knows Melbourne.
The news from people who know what they're talking about. 7 Nightly News, weeknights at 6.
And he's been such a huge part of that and supporting it, believing in the station. He watches the channel. When he's away overseas on holidays, he gets tapes sent to him, or he wants to know what's on air because he loves it and lives it and breathes it, or at least he has up until now. What we've seen is a massive change in the media environment. Mr. Stokes, he's going out. He's decided that after a little prolonged period of upheaval, he's got other things to do with his time. He wants to spend more time with his family. He wants to go skiing in his cabin. He loves scuba diving off Indonesia, and he's handing on the keys to his kingdom to his son Ryan. What we see with Ryan coming in is going, we've got this massive 7 group holdings. It's making billions of dollars. Unfortunately, the media arm contributing 1% of the profits to that, if we're being kind, but causing them 99% of their headaches. And he's just said, look, not interested. Let's focus on Boral. Let's focus on West Track, the stuff that's making us money. The media's nice, but for us, that's not the big picture anymore. They had a 40% stake in 7 West Media, which includes obviously Channel 7, but also the West Australian newspaper, and a number of online entities. But they said, all right, let's move away from that. There's been a merge with Southern Cross Austereo, which is obviously a massive radio network, has Triple M hit networks, and their shareholding has come down to 20%, but now I'm hearing they don't even want that 20%. And Ryan Stokes has instructed the incoming chair of 7 Group Holdings, let's get rid of it, let's offload it. Now, it's not the first time that we've seen the heir to a major media empire go, that was Dad's thing. He loved it. For me, not so much. James Packer famously did it when he took over Nine from the other Kerry that was a major media mogul. And look, did he get out at the right time? I reckon history would say that James made the right decision then. And I reckon that we'll find that from a business point of view, Ryan is making the right decision now. As we all know, media is the game that you're getting into just to make money these days. Probably not. There are other things that make heaps more money, as obviously Ryan Stokes knows, but media's always been about more than that. It's about influence, it's about passion for journalism, and sometimes those things that drive a media organisation, sending someone at great expense, a crew at great expense to a war zone, that doesn't make money. It's a social responsibility that you feel as a media proprietor. So from a business point of view, if you don't love the media, you don't really want to be in it. There are easier ways in the world to make a buck.
Yeah, to be a tycoon, you probably have to really enjoy the combat. And that's something that Kerry Packer absolutely did love. He loved going into battle with politicians. Kerry Stokes probably too. Although there's one issue that Kerry Stokes has been very circumspect about, and that's how much influence he had over his Network 7 about one of his pet topics, that is Ben Roberts-Smith, a former Australian soldier, received the Victoria Cross, our highest medal for gallantry, and was accused by Nine of being a war criminal, a finding that was subsequently upheld in court despite the fact that Ben Roberts-Smith always denied having done anything wrong. Kerry Stokes always backed him to the hilt and also said that he never instructed anyone at Seven to cover the Ben Roberts-Smith story one way or the other. He said the only thing he ever did was to ring a news director and say that he wanted the story covered fairly. He said he never rang a journalist with specific instructions about that or any other story. What's your sense of how much influence Kerry Stokes actually had on the journalism of Seven?
It's a good question. It's not how I think he ran it, it's how I know. He has never, and I will say this unequivocally, he has never told a journalist how to cover a story. He doesn't have to. That's what news bosses are for. Mr. Stokes will say, and he is 100% right, he is allowed to have a view. And if he tells his news director, I think this, his news director is more than capable of saying, no, you're wrong, this is the way we're covering it. And with Ben Roberts-Smith, as we've seen in that case, Channel 7 did, despite what Mr. Stokes may have directed or encouraged or suggested that his news network do, we did see that they did actually cover that quite robustly, did play it really straight. Their news coverage didn't overly or overtly support BRS. It didn't attack him either. They made a really principled decision to cover it honest and fairly. And I think part of that is they know, no matter what anyone says, if they don't do that, News Corp 9 are quite rightly going to call them out and say, hey, you're being a cheerleader. So their news coverage, I don't think, was tainted. Were they encouraged to take BRS's side? Yes, they were. Was it a directive or just a point of view? Well, I'm going to leave that to you and the listeners to decide.
So just like a younger James Packer, Ryan Stokes just can't be bothered with all the drama that comes with running a media empire. Every story creates a potential headache. So you'd think that getting out of Seven is the right thing for the Stokes family at this time. But is it the right thing for the people who work at Seven or the viewers who love Seven?
It's a game-changing difference, right? Because when you have a media proprietor who believes in journalism, who loves it, who wants to invest in it, even when it's not the smart, economical, accountant-driven decision, that's when you know you've got your full backing. And as a journalist, someone in the trenches, you love. The problem is when you have those media proprietors who believe in the product and who believe in journalism exiting the business, and in come the accountants, and the accountants take charge, and it's run like a bank, then, for journalists, you lose a lot of that trust that you're going to have that backing, or we're going to be encouraged to push the envelope, because we've seen it with numerous media companies. In come the accountants, they take charge, outgo a lot of the stories or a lot of the backing to do big hits that aren't financially viable, and all of a sudden, 60 Minutes budget, it's coming down because the drive that it's got to be the biggest news and current affairs show on TV, no matter the cost, that's not essential anymore. Now it's got to pay its way. So when the accountants take charge, it's a worrying time. Is it going to change everything? Well, yeah, I think it will.
And now, of course, we see Nine, which is run by the accountants, looking to sell off its radio assets. What does that mean for the rest of the Nine group?
It's funny that the accountants are the ones who want to sell off Nine Radio, because I would suggest they're the ones who've created all the headaches. You've got the journos there still doing their thing as best they can. Their newsrooms have shrunk massively, but it's the accountants who have come in and ruined that model. What happened is Nine took it over, paid a lot of money for it, heaps of money, and then they've gone, you know what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of their entire sales team, and we'll just get the guys who are selling the ads on TV, selling the ads on Nine Radio. Turns out audience is very different, and the bowling alley who wants their ad on Nine News or in Married at First Sight, they don't really care about a demographic of 60 plus who are listening to Nine Radio's 2GB or 3AW. That audience, they want to that's the Mattress Warehouse or crowd, or they want to know about some that they can buy for their grandkids. So the idea that there's going to be this massive synergy doesn't work, because they're two very distinct audiences they've come in, the accounts, we're going to save all this money, and all of a sudden they've killed the whole business model. I caught up with Spotlight's Liam Bartlett in Sydney last year, and we're out at a restaurant, and this lady's come up to me when he's inside, he's ordering a pizza, and a lady's come up to me and gone, oh, is that Liam Bartlett from 60 Minutes? Because, he also had a show on 9 Radio. He was doing a show in Perth on 6PR, the morning show. So he was doing both, 60 Minutes, so we're selling ads in his Perth radio show. So, and how's that going? Is it good? Oh, the advertisers, they love it. Well, can't get enough. Do you think I could say hello to him? Yeah, sure, why not? And he comes out, we're selling ads in your radio show. And Liam, well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. And, the joke being that after she leaves, Liam hadn't been on 60 Minutes or 9 Radio for 2 years. He's over at Channel 7 at the opposition. Meanwhile, the integrated sales team is still pitching his ads. So the advertisers, they need someone who actually listens to the show. And I'm hearing the same thing out of Melbourne. Advertisers saying that the TV guys, they're trying to sell them ads on 3AW. They're not even up to date with what the shows are, who the presenters are. So that is what they've lost when they try that synergy and you lose that passion or connection with the product. The advertisers, they're advertising on it because they listen to it. They know it. And when the person trying to flog them an ad doesn't know what they're talking about, all of a sudden that confidence, that trust is lost. The accountants, sometimes by trying to save a little bit of money, end up costing them a lot of money. And that's what we've seen in 9 Radio.
You revealed in the media diary this week, Steve, that Nine's biggest star, Karl Stefanovic, has created a bit of an exit ramp for himself.
G'day everyone, it's Karl Stefanovic and this is the Karl Stefanovic Show.
What is that exit ramp and how's it going?
Oh my God. I tell you what, sometimes when there's a little bit of news breaking, my phone, I get a couple of calls, my phone went into meltdown this week when the news about this broke. So there are a couple of factors at play here. Karl, he's had 20 years on the Today Show. Everyone at 9 cannot believe that Karl has been given permission to do his own podcast. People at the highest levels of 9, outside the ones who signed off on this, are going, what the heck are we doing? We've given Karl permission to start his own podcast called The Karl Stefanovic Show, which they believe is basically what the Today Show has been for the last 2 decades. And he's doing it in direct competition to his own network. Like, where's the sense in that? So Karl's saying, I've been held back for 2 decades on 9. I haven't been able to unleash the beast, he calls it. Unleash the beast. Now I'm going to be doing that. And everyone's going, unleash. He's never been prevented from interviewing anyone. And then up pops the first episode. Surprise, surprise, it's Pauline Hanson. I'm not sure about you, Claire. I reckon that the list of people who haven't interviewed Pauline Hanson over the years is shorter than the list of people who have.
Karl's trademark is always being raw and authentic and being himself, letting it all hang out, isn't it?
That's always been his charm. And that has always been part and parcel of the great 60-minute stories he's done. And he's always done that. So to suggest all of a sudden he's going to be doing something different for the first time, this is going to be the real Karl, the Karl you haven't seen drunk after the Logies on air. This is going to be the real Karl, making jokes in a slightly... What are you talking about? So nobody can wrap their head around it. Of course, what I know, and I'm sure you might have heard rumblings about yourself, is that his time on Today is coming to an end. It's been 2 decades. He's never won. It's time for a changing of the guard. So last year, his contract, which was, let's talk $3 million odd, was up for renewal, and he's taken a massive haircut. And on top of that, they've given him a 1-year extension. So as part of those conversations, I'm told, he said, well, if you're going to chop my paycheck by about a third and put me on a 1-year contract, I want you to let me go and do a side hustle, a separate project. Does it make sense? Not really, because I'm sure if I said to you, look, Claire, I'm going to work 4 days a week for you, but on the 5th day, I'm going to do the really good interviews and do it for someone else. You can only have one master. So, will it work? I would have thought not. Good luck to him. Everyone's entitled to try something. If you're being paid more than $2 million, maybe try it for your own network. But, we will see. Obviously, I've been wrong before, not often, but let's see how this one works out.
Steve Jackson, thank you very much.
Thank you. Always love being on, Claire. Hope we can talk again soon.